Hey YouTube, how y'all doing? It's your boy Zame with a new video. First off, I hope you guys are doing well. I know I haven't uploaded in a couple of days and I do apologize for that. I've been kind of busy, but I didn't want to make this video because I think when was this posted? Yeah, about a week ago, MK1 posted that they're releasing a patch after Evo. And you guys know I've been making videos on, or I guess this video, I'll leave one or two videos on why MK1 gameplay kind of failed for me, and why I don't feel like it lived up to its potential, whether it's because of balancing or the DLC character releases. Just many things I talked about in this video, which a lot of people actually agreed with, which was nice to see, or disagreed with. It was just nice to see everyone's opinion on the matter. And I figured, since they are releasing this patch, why not give some thoughts on how I think the game could be better. Obviously I don't play this game as much anymore. I honestly don't play it at all, to be honest, other than maybe once in a while. But if they were to patch this game to a state to where I enjoy it, definitely would consider playing it again. But as of right now, and how it's been for the past few months, I haven't really enjoyed the game, to be honest. But I do just want to say that all the videos I make, even if it's limited videos, or if you guys have seen me, like I tweeted this a couple of days following up on a tweet from a good friend and competitor, Wise. You guys probably know him. All these tweets that I make, or what's it called, videos talking about the game, it's really just because I actually believe this game had potential. Obviously, we're nearing the end of this game. Evo is probably the last major for it in terms of like big majors, and then Final Kombat next month, obviously. But in terms of after Final Kombat, this game is probably done until the next 1’s title. But if they're gonna patch it one more time from now until the next game, I feel like there's a lot of things they could do to actually make the game way better. So I'm gonna share my thoughts here. Like I said, every time I make a video, it is me trying to make the game better, or just give my opinions on what I think the game could be better. I'm not really always trying to jump on a hate train, and if you guys watch my streams, you know that. So yeah, so I want to give my thoughts on what I think this game could change in to make it better, in my opinion. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing I'm gonna get into is honestly nerfing some of the top tiers. Now, none of the mentality around MK1 has kind of been nerf less and kind of buff other characters more to, so like instead of nerfing top tiers, buff more lower tier characters to that level. And the reason I've never really thought that's best for this game is because characters in this game are actually pretty strong, and they're pretty strong competitively. So meaning characters like Reptile, for example, Baraka, who I think is really good. Characters like that I don't think they're not really played a lot, and that's because the top tiers kind of overshadow them. But Reptile and Baraka do have the potential to compete at the highest level. They require more time put into their game plans, take more effort to do. And that's kind of the problem with the top tiers that I mentioned in my last video, is that in this patch and many other patches, whether it's a character thing or a character with a cameo thing, their game plans are too easy to do, and they're very easy to play. So for example, like Homelander and T1000, the first characters I'm going to cover. If you're looking at Homelander and a character like T1000 compared to like, Reptile, for example, even though Reptile is really good, these two characters are just way easier to play in terms of, what they want to do. In terms of what they want to do in the game and how they open you up, it's way easier to do than what Reptile is doing, for example. Or, not Reptile's example, it's just, like, those characters are just harder to play. So these characters are just way more easier to play, and their game plans are just too strong. So for example, with T1000, his whole game plan is just one string, which is 4-3, and then you just mash 4 or whatever. And if you look at the frame data, the problem with this string is that it's a 50-50 mix just off of its own. So if you look at the fifth hit of the string, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that fifth hit right there is an overhead, meaning you have to block high, and it starts up at 11 frames. So that's right there off the bat, you have to block an overhead. And then the thing that complements that is he has a low spike that starts at 11 frames. So right there I do, so after this fourth hit, I do low, and that's a 11 frame mix up as well. So it's a 50-50 that jails. You can't armor or anything, and you're just guessing. So it's either you get hit by this overhead, and then you get a launcher, or you just get hit by this low, and you get a launcher. So regardless of the option, you're taking a full combo. I don't even know the optimal routes. I'm pretty sure you can convert this. Yeah, like that. You don't even need Movado, but right off the bat, you see it's a 50-50 option. You know, if it's just a 50-50, it's okay, right? Like, even though I'm not a fan of 50-50s, they exist in fighting games. And characters in MKX had 50-50s like crazy, but you know, in MKX, if you block the 50-50, for example, you can punish it, and it's just a coin flip. It's either high or low, for example. Now, the problem with this character is he also has a command grab, and this command grab launches. So you get a full combo for this as well. And, you know, I don't even know the routes, like I said, but you get a full combo off command grab. So while this is a 50-50 string, and you already guess between low and overhead, now you add in the command grab. So anytime in this string, you can do stand 4 command grab, for example, get a full combo. You can do forward 3, get a full combo. You can do the command grab late, like after the overhead, you can do the command grab. You can do raw command grab. So you're essentially taking a 50-50 mix-up and adding 2 more layers on top of that. And you also have this move, which you can add on top of that just for an easy mix, or free damage, I guess. So you see how you're guessing 3 to 4 ways off of this one string, or just off of any encounter with this character, right? Now, the way I would nerf him, there's 2 ways to nerf this character. The first thing I was thinking about is nerfing his low spike and making it the mid. But I think the problem with this is that if you nerf this low spike, this move kind of becomes useless. It's already pretty punishable on block. You know, it's minus 29. But the reason it's still decent is because it's a low. So if you're just walking in neutral and he does this, so if you're just walking like that and he does that, you know, he gets a full combo into Movado, for example. So basically, it helps his neutral, because even though his neutral is already really good because of this string, and like stand 2, down 4, whatever it is, down 3, he still has really good neutral. This also helps his neutral because you're scared to move against him because it is low. So the reason, you know, making this a mid would remove that mix, so you'd only have command grab, so you only do this or overhead. But I don't think that would be a good nerf, because you can armor OS the command grab, meaning if he does command grab, since it's not jailing and if you're mashing armor, you can get out of that mix up. As opposed to, you know, this jailing as a low and then just jailing as an overhead. So the best route to nerf this character, in my opinion, is to just remove the command grab combo. So right now his raw command grab does 9%, his EX command grab does 11%, I think. So I would be fine if they just made his raw command grab 10% maybe, or keep it 9, and then make EX command grab like 13%, 14% maybe. And remove the ability to combo. So just lock out cameos when you do command grab, or just make it do a knockdown instead of it bouncing like that. Just make it do a hard knockdown, for example. And by that nerf, basically what it does is he's still a 50-50 character, because he still has jailing mix. But if you guess right here, it's fine, you know. Like, you guess right, and you can punish him, right? Or you guess right on, even if you guess right on this, by the way, there's still a mind game here, because when he goes in this thing, if you try to punish him, you can do that. So he still has like a safe mind game with the overhead that Terminator players use. So he has a 50-50 mix with a mind game on it. But it just removes that 3rd or 4th option, that where he could just command grab you anytime and also get a full combo. He still has a command grab, so he can still get damage when he wants to. But it nerfs his mix. You need to nerf his mix. His mix is way too powerful for how easy it is to use. This character doesn't struggle to get in at all, aside from maybe 1 or 2 characters, because he has this. So you get that, and then you start mixing. And he also controls neutral in this area because of this, and because of this button. So yeah, you have to nerf his mix, and that's the best way to nerf T1000 in my opinion. And if you don't nerf his mix, then GG. And then Homelander, when this character was on top, and he's still obviously top tier, top 5. But I'm talking when this character was absurdly broken, and his forward 4 was a low. My suggestion to nerfing him was to remove his command grab combo. because the problem with the command grab combo is that he flies at you like this, so it's unreactable, right? So like in this range, if you're blocking for 1 second and then you just, you know, it's unreactable, and then you might say you can jump it or duck it. The problem with this is that if you try to duck the command grab, he has this button that goes very far and is hit confirmable. So if I do this, I just hit confirm, and then if you're saying, well, you could just jump it, the problem with that is also that this button barely has any recovery on it. So you see how fast I recover. And because his best team is Pharah cameo, he can also catch you jumping with this. So rather than me doing command grab, I can catch you with this, get a full combo, and then put you in this, right? And then obviously his mix got nerfed here, because here he can only do overhead, and then the only low option he has is this, right? But this is plus 10 on hit. I mean, you can just loop this, even though it's at 3%. Then you can also grab you. And basically what Homelander players do is, since you only need like half a bar for Pharah to do, you know, command grab combo, whatever. The whole command grab gameplay loop is essentially hitting you. So like if I do command grab here, let's say I do command grab, full corner carry. You know, my whole game plan here is to just mix you. So that's 3%, 3%. This is a block string. And then if I hit you that one more of those, now I have half arrow back, right? And then now for this, I could just do. And then you're guessing again. And if I just do my combo here. And then I almost have Pharah again. I just need to put you in more loops, maybe grab you, and you're guessing again. You know, so it's just a ongoing loop of just guessing between command grab, overhead. He still has overhead, by the way. He has jailing plus frames. So my thought for this character was to originally just nerf his command grab and just remove the combo off of it. So essentially this is still a low. He still has this overhead. But he can't combo off of this anymore. But they decided to not take that route and actually nerf his forward and make it a mid. And because of Pharah cameo and how broken it is, he didn't really change much as a character, because he could still command grab you and get a combo every 2 seconds. He still controls neutral. You can't just duck for free because he has this button. And that's why he's still top tier, because he mixes you, he still has great buttons, and the nerf didn't really affect him that much, I'd say. So there's 2 ways to nerf this character in my opinion. The first nerf would be, honestly, if you want to make this a low again, I'd be fine with it. And just remove the command grab combo. So just like T1000, he's essentially just making you guess between low or overhead. But if they don't want to take that route, and I don't think they'll take that route, because I don't think NRS has ever reverted a nerf or a buff. Havik, for example. The only other change I see is making this have more recovery, to where if you whiff this button, you're kind of dying. So if I'm Team 1K and I see Homelander whiff this button, rather than him recovering that quickly, you know, like you guys see how much ground that covers, right? Rather than him recovering this quickly, I should be able to punish right there, you know? Like that's how minus should be on whiff. So you have to nerf some aspect of his game plan, whether it's his command grab combo, or his neutral. And the problem is, if you just remove the command grab combo, and then he just becomes overhead, this, or just command grab, he'd still be good, but definitely not as good, because he barely gets chances to open you up, and he's kind of just killing you in small increments, right? So it's just the design with this character is tough to balance, and that's why I thought the original route was to nerf his command grab entirely and just remove the combo of it, which would make him a 50-50 character, but with the command grab still. But that's how I would kind of nerf Homelander. It's hard to nerf this character just because of the way they nerfed him, and just the way he plays, and how his bonds are centered. But that's how I would change that character. So yeah, T1000, definitely remove the command grab combo, or make it a knockdown, and Homelander either nerf forward 4 or change his mix in some sort of way. Now Cyrax, the next 2 characters I want to go over are Cyrax and Havik. And honestly, the problem with these characters are very simple. And that's why I always say, like, to change this game into a good state, it really takes a couple of changes. The problem with Cyrax, honestly, like, I don't really have a problem with her offense. Obviously, you guys know the whole thing about Cyrax is once she gets a hit, for example with this, what is the net input? Oh yeah, once she gets a hit, she's putting you into a loop, you know, something like this. I don't play Cyrax, so I don't know the combos, but you know, you guys know the whole thing with Cyrax. And then if she hits you with this, what's this move? She takes away your bar into more combos, right? I don't have a problem with the set play because that's how Cyrax is designed. My problem with how Cyrax works in this game, or not really my problem because I haven't really been playing this game, but from what I see, the issue with this character is that she can open you up with a 50-50. You know, if you guys know, or probably do know, her back one is it's a back grab, meaning you have to take backwards, and her back one too is a forward grab. You know, if I'm Havik here and she does back one, I have to take backwards. And if she does forward, back one too, I have to take forwards. So yeah, you're guessing right there, right? So it's a 50-50 grab. Now that would be okay because, you know, we know grab combos are in the game. But like the thing with grab combos, if you take backwards, no grab combo. If you take forwards, or if you take backwards and they grab you forwards, they get their damage, and then you move on, right? Yeah, you move on to next encounter. The problem with Cyrax is she gets a combo of both these options, meaning if she back grabs you, and this is with Tremor and Madame Bo, which I believe are her best cameos. She back grabs you, she gets a full combo. So back grab and a Tremor punch, and you get a full combo. Then you start your whole situation, your whole set play. If she forward grabs you, and she does that, and then that's when you can do, like, you know, I don't even know the combos with this character, but that's when you do stuff like this. So you see, this, you're basically, it's a coin flip that doesn't really have a big risk to it, because the worst thing that happens to her is you just you're teching the grab. That's the worst case scenario, other than, you know, you ducking the grab, but it's scary to duck against this character because she has a 12 frame mid that's fully hit confirmable. And she still has like back 2, which is an insane button. You know, she still has forward 2 to potentially catch you slipping if you're not ready. So she has buttons to open you up if you get hit by this at all. You know, she's getting a full combo. So if you get opened up by this character, you're getting put in a set play. And on top of that, she's able to do all that set play off a 50-50 grab. So literally a simple fix for this character is just to make one of these grabs not combo. And you realize all the nerfs that I've said for these 3 characters are to remove the grab combos. Grab combos are just not good design in my opinion. Like, there's grab combos like Liu Kang, like I mentioned, where he can back grab you or forward grab. That's fine because the forward grab doesn't give you a combo. But when you add in additional mix to already existing grab combos, such as, you know, that's why Cyrax Arena, even though it was broken, I thought it wasn't as bad as these teams, because if she back grabs you, she gets a combo. But let's say if she did this grab, she wasn't able to call a cameo, that'd be fine because she's only launching you off of one grab. But the fact that you know, you're taking a coin flip and you're guessing off of a grab, whether it's forward or back, so you have to guess, and then if she gets a hit, that's when she can lead to all her set play and her whole game plan. That's where I think it's like, that's where I think the flaw is in her design, personally. So that's how I nerf Cyrax. I'd make one of the grabs a hard knockdown, or just remove the combo from it, or the ability to call a cameo. And with Havik, this character was overly buffed in like the most brain dead type of way. And the fact that his broken buffs have still carried on to today, which is what, July 30th I'm recording this video, or July 29th. The fact that it's carried on to this day from when he was buffed and Chaos Reigns came out is insane. Obviously he got nerfed a little, which, you know, at the time was this move, which was insane to do. And now character's still pretty much the same, except this got nerfed. So now he still has, you know, the problem with the buffs they gave him is this armor move got buffed for some reason. It has 4 hits of armor and it's incredibly fast, meaning it's hard to break it. And the only way you can punish this is literally flaws blocking it, which is hard to do. And then if you mess that up, you're dead. Full combo. Character still does 40% off of any touch, like literally, except for this. Into a safe jump, and then if he hits you at all, he gets 40% off any touch. Meterless. Into a safe jump, and then he hits you again. He has grab combos for free damage. He has a 50-50 off of his main string. You can do this. Full combo. Or you can do this. If he does, you know, the low option. And on top of all that, he has sweep, which is a crazy button in neutral that gets him full combo. If this hits it all, you get a full combo. So now that you're breaking this character down, he also has mix. Even though you can fuzzy this catches you off guard immediately, like, because it's a 3-frame fuzzy, meaning it's not the easiest fuzzy to do. And if he hits you with this at all, you know, you're taking that damage we talked about. Not even another combo, but yeah, for example, that. And on top of that, he has great neutral. His button, he has good plus frames. Character's just, I'm trying to think if I forgot everything. Anything. He has a great down 4. So yeah, he kind of just has everything. He has God Nooch. His armor is insanely broken. Hits you for 40%. And on top of that, he does have the unblockable still if he needs it in certain situations. So the way I'd nerf this character is just honestly reverting what they gave him. Like, the thing with Havik is he didn't need crazy buffs. He probably just needed like his down 4 to be better on block and on hit. He needed maybe 1 or 2 other buffs, but instead they gave him the whole thing. Like, they gave him everything and more. So I'd nerf his armor. Rather than this being 4 hits, I'd make it 2 hits, for example. So I'd nerf his armor for sure. Maybe nerf his damage like a tiny bit. So rather than him doing, how much does he do per hit? I'm gonna do the most simple combo, 1-1. At 38% off of no bar. Make that 33%, for example. Make it 34%. I don't know. Just nerf the damage just by a tiny bit. This could stay. Either one thing has to change here. Either this should change to where you can fuzzy this, or this should change. His low scoop, make it this a mid. You know, it gives him a fast armor option, sure, but then you just make this a mid to where he still has his combos. Like, you know, you still do this, you still have your combos, you still have your safe jump, but you don't have just a mix that you can just throw out there to also open him. Because when you look at this character, he's already opening you up for moving because of sweep. He's opening you up for existing because he has this mix-up. He has a grab combo they can just throw out anytime. So he has broken armor. So he's opening you up in so many ways. Plus he has decent zoning and all that, right? He has good neutral. So him also having this that can just catch you anytime is also kind of dumb, you know what I mean? Like, and that's how I nerf this character. Literally just armor and then nerf his low scoop. Just make it a mid. And then slight damage nerf. And that's how Havik would be well off in my opinion. Aside from that, aside from those 4 characters that I think have played the game, I'm trying to look at the other characters in this top 5. I wouldn't really nerf anyone else if I'm looking at this list. Other than maybe like character wise, I wouldn't really nerf anyone else. But when it comes to cameos, I definitely think Tremor needs a nerf. I don't know. See, this is where I'm iffy about it because I don't really know what to nerf about Tremor since I've been playing. But I know a lot of people have been talking about the cameo. So nerf his cooldown in some sort of way. Or some of his ambush moves. I don't know how that works. I know people have been asking for Movado nerfs because of how fast he cools down. I still believe Farah is a terribly designed cameo. So I would take any type of rework for her. And aside from that, when it comes to character buffs, I would actually rework Quan Chi. What I would do is actually give him normal buttons, like a 7-frame down 1, a 7-frame stand 1. You know, buff his forward 2 to where maybe he can hit confirm off of it, and then just remove armor portal. The problem with this character is his game plan is literally centered around armor portal, and without that, he's horrible. But even with that, his potential is very low because it's a straightforward game plan of back grab or forward grab. So you just have to rework this whole character and how he plays. Honestly, he's not well designed. And maybe slight buffs to like Tanya's frame data. Shang, I don't really know. I think he's actually pretty decent, but I'm not sure. But aside from that, like I said, I don't think a lot of characters need buffs. Like Peacemaker, maybe make Eagly safe on block to where he can actually have safe block strings again. I think Omni-Man's fine. I think Garrus is fine. I think a lot of these characters I think are actually fine. Maybe make Sub-Zero's Ice Ball faster. Still the most useless projectile in the game. And yeah, aside from that, I think that's what I mean. I think a lot of characters are in a good spot. It's just these top 4 characters, like comparing like a good character that takes effort comparing to these characters. For example, is like Noob Saibot. You know, I think Noob is great. He's a good character, a great character, honestly. But he actually requires like you to be good with him compared to like a character like T1000, Homelander, Havik. You know, so. Those are my changes for those 4 characters because I truly believe, you know, every single patch in this game has been a couple of changes all from being great. But because of, you know, like those characters that I showed in like certain cameos that stick out, like, you know, it used to be Chameleon, Striker, Lao, whatever it was. Now it's Tremor and Movado and Pharaoh, whatever. Because of those couple of characters or cameos, the game has never really been in a good state, in my opinion. Which is why I made that tweet and made the videos. You know, those are my thoughts on the changes. So obviously, let me know what you guys think. I think all the changes I mentioned, like, you know, so just to recap, T1000s, command grab no longer combos. Homelander nerf to either his forward 4 or change him in some sort of way. This character I'm unsure of, to be honest. Cyrax, remove one of the grab combo options, make it a hard knockdown, and only give her 1 grab combo. She should not have 2. For the amount of set play she has, she should not be able to open you off of 2 grab combos. Like, that's actually insane. And then Havik just has everything. Like, his armor is absurd, his damage is crazy. He can open you up in 3 different ways. So yeah, nerf his low scoop, making a mid, slightly tone down his damage, and nerf his armor, and then he's in a good spot. So those are my suggestions for this game and what I think they should do moving forward in the patch. Obviously, if they'll listen to this video or, you know, people's changes, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I just kind of want to share my thoughts on how I think this game could be improved. Because like I said, you know, all these videos I make on whether the game didn't live up to my standards or not my standards, to how I thought it could live up to, like its potential, is really just because I believe this game did have potential, even if, you know, it didn't live up to. So we'll see what they do with the patch. And as always, I appreciate the support on the videos. Hope you guys are doing well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.